Welcome to Let's Talk About Scams. I'm your host, Joyce Petrowski, founder of R.O.S.E Resources Outreach to Safeguard the Elderly. And I'm glad you've joined me today. You can find more resources on our website at roseadvocacy.org. You can sign up for our email and or our mailed newsletter. You'll find our social media links, and you'll find the links from Apple and Spotify for this podcast. So today we're going to talk to a guest, Paige Hansen with Secure Labs, about scams involving hijacking your Bluetooth. Well, hi, Paige. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Joyce.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the last couple of weeks, a friend of mine sent me a news article, or not article, it was actually on the news here in Phoenix, about, they called it blue jacking, blue snarfing, and blue bugging. Guessing it has something to do with Bluetooth, because they all
It does. They all have a theme. Yes.
Anyway, so let's get started. I don't know which one you want to tackle first. Do they all kind of mean the same thing?
Well, they all mean it's with your Bluetooth. And, the Bluetooth can be extremely helpful, right? So you usually have it on because you've got maybe a watch connected, or maybe your headphone set connected. And so you want it to be, discoverable because you want to connect certain things. Or, for me, I use the Bluetooth in my TV to cast, if I'm doing a workout or something, I want to cast it. And so there's meaningful ways that we're using Bluetooth, and we want the convenience that it's just on. So as convenient as that is, fraudsters pick up on that, and they say this is a discoverable way that we can essentially infiltrate a device. And so I'll give you tips here at the end, but there are some terms that have come up. So like you said, there's blue snarfing, blue bugging, blue jacking, blue smacking.
Oh, geez.
All of them, I know, all of them have to do with Bluetooth. So at the end of the day, the cyber criminals are using your connection to your Bluetooth. They're getting into your device via your Bluetooth. So it's easy. We can disable your Bluetooth. But let me walk through exactly what these criminals are doing. So the first one is blue snarfing. So that is when it's a certain type of cyber attack that steals your information. So it includes, let's say, your photos, text messages, emails, but it does it via the Bluetooth. So it can often lead to identity theft, because imagine, somebody's taking your photos and your text messages and your emails. They can pretend to be you, right? Yeah. And so they're able to get in via Bluetooth because you typically usually have it in discoverable mode. So again, where we talk about the convenience, so your watch can connect, right?
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so that's called blue snarfing. Then there is a term called blue jacking. So that's when another device sends unsolicited phishing messages through Bluetooth. So this can contain usually malicious links. Sounds complicated. It kind of is in a way, but at the end of the day, what they're doing is they're just using your device to send out these phishing messages, but it's through your Bluetooth.
So it actually looks like it's coming from you.
These links can be malicious, meaning that if you or someone else clicks on them, it's going to make it so their device could be potentially have malware or some sort of a virus. And so that can be not great because they're using you to do that. So that's called blue jacking.
So a hacker gets into your, let's say, phone through your Bluetooth. They can send emails and text messages, and it's going to say, like, I did that through your Bluetooth. Then I could send emails and text messages to your contacts and have it look like it's coming from you.
No, usually it's they're taking that information. Now they can easily create an account and pretend to be you, but it's now they know your photos. So for instance, they could send a photo of, like, Joyce and I, we took a picture last week together at a networking event. Somebody could take that and text you and say, "Hey, it's Paige. I got a new number. But here's the picture that we took last week. It was so great seeing you." Well, I click on the picture, it can now include a malicious link in that photo. So when I open the photo attachment, then now I'm compromised.
Okay, got it.
It's almost like they gain credibility because they know how you talk, they know who your contacts are, and then they have emails back and forth, so they know they can just reply from that. So
So they can scour through all that and kind of see who you talk to all the time and, like you said, what your voice is and all that. So wow,
exactly.
that's scary.
And now with AI, all I have to do is copy paste all your emails, put them in AI and say, okay, create a greeting or an email to so and so based off of how I've interacted with them. And so it'll even spit out the same tone and sentiments that you use. If you write all the words out or if you use abbreviations, it'll, do that as
Pick up
well.
on
So
that. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, it will pick up. There is a term, it's called blue bugging. So that's when a cyber criminal gains access to your device using a secret Bluetooth connection to access private data. And so that makes them, this is what you're talking about, is blue bugging. So that helps them impersonate the user because they've gained access to your device with a secret Bluetooth. So just as easy as it is to connect your watch, they have now connected something else, some other sort of device, and now they can impersonate you.
So that's where they can get in to your email and send emails pretending to be you.
Right, because they're essentially taking over your device.
Okay, so that's blue bugging.
Blue bugging. I know it's hard to keep all these straight,
It
right?
is. So, well, you just remember there's a bug in your
Yes.
device that
Yes,
is
exactly.
impersonating you, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, and then the last one, it's probably the most sophisticated of the crimes. It's called blue smacking, and it's a specific denial of service. They call this a DDoS attack to force a device to shut down through oversized data packets. And what this means is basically somebody is sending so much information to your phone can't process that, so it ends up just shutting down.
So what would be the benefit of that then?
What is the benefit of half the criminals? They just do it to cause ruckus half the time.
That's true. Yeah.
And so it's causing you to say, oh my goodness, then you don't have access to your phone. So here's an example. Maybe somebody who has I'm just thinking of like corporate espionage, they're having a big investor meeting and they're doing it the phone through their phone. And so that you do a specific DDoS attack and you shut down their phone so they're not able to have that, or they're scrambling to have a call. That's, an example from like a corporate standpoint, but you could insert that sort of scenario into anybody
So
making
it's not
calls.
necessarily that they might want to take over your identity or get your files. It's more of they're going to cause you grief because they're
Yes.
going to shut your phone down. You can't use it.
Yes. And the same goes, that sort of attack happens on companies' websites. You'll get all this traffic. And that's why sometimes when you go to a retailer's website and it's not working, oftentimes it's some sort of, attack that the criminals are trying to just either cause ruckus or news or, whatever, who knows what the skill set of the fraudster is and what their end game is. But that's just typically a scenario.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So what's the best thing? I know I use Bluetooth and I normally use it when I'm in my car. I play my playlist from my phone on my car radio, right? To listen to it. But the thing is I don't turn it off. I just leave it on.
It definitely needs to be part of your routine. Something that I do. So I have my device here and I swipe down and then I have access. These are all my settings. I can easily just click the Bluetooth and turn it off. When I'm not, and because really what you want to do is turn it off when you're in public areas. Joyce, when you're getting into your car, I would not consider that a public area. Same with, if I were to go just to the grocery store and back, I'm going to have my Bluetooth on. I want my watch on, tracking my steps, because if it's not tracking me, am I really walking? I'm not. So, but that's one thing you can do. If you're at the airport and you're not using your Bluetooth, and that's maybe a scenario you could just turn it off. But there is a setting within your device you can be discoverable or not discoverable. And that's what makes it so we can go out and I feel more comfortable because I'm not discoverable. When you make yourself discoverable, that would be like your TV, for instance, that is constantly discoverable and I can just cast onto my TV. You don't want to be your TV. You don't want anybody just to be able to connect with you.
Well, right, because your TV's in your house, right? It's not moving locations.
Right.
But what if someone's sitting out in front of your house?
My neighbor absolutely could cast something to my TV.
Or I've heard a lot of these smart TVs have cameras in them.
Yes, they could take over. This is an example. Exactly, Joyce. This is an example of why, yes, should that is one area because we have one TV. It's actually the TV in my garage. So if something crazy is going on in my garage, it would be a surprise to me. But our other TVs, you have to have like a PIN number to be able to access. But the one in our garage is discoverable all the time. But this is be an example of turning that off. If we really wanted to. Your phone is a place where you should turn that off.
If someone gets into your Bluetooth, normally won't it give you a message that says another device wants to pair?
There are safeguards in place, but then also to the other side, if it's a certain type of one of these Bluetooth scams, they can just bypass that because they have access to your device. So they're saying, okay, so if you're not paying attention.
It'll be like they'll automatically make themselves one of your favorite Bluetooth connections or something like that.
Exactly.
And then,
Exactly.
so what about, like, I recently, when I got a new phone about 3 months ago, I had some old watches that were still on there. They weren't connected, but they were still on there.
Yes.
My old car was still on there, but not connected. So it's always good, I would imagine, every now and then to go into your Bluetooth settings. And if you have items that you don't use anymore, like an old car, an old, watch, whatever it is, that you go in and tell it to forget this device. I think you just click on it or click the eye next to it.
The eye next to it. And then you
Yeah,
just say,
and then it'll come up and I think it's down at the bottom and you just say forget this device and then it just takes it away.
yeah, I mean, because like me, I have the things I normally use, which is my watch, but then I have like no number of speakers, so it's like we have a Bose speaker and we have another speaker and we have another speaker. So like just different speakers. And there's ones I haven't used in a long time, but they're still our speakers. I could probably just take those off, it's really up to you. But yeah, if you have an old watch or, like I used to have a Fitbit, I used to be on there. I looked on there and like, I don't need to have that on there. So definitely.
One thing I just thought of, because, a handful of times throughout the year when I'm traveling, we'll rent a car, right? And so I know a lot of people, and I've been very cognizant of it. Like if I'm going to connect to my Bluetooth, I make sure when I'm turning that car in, I go in and say, forget this connection or whatever it is. When I go to connect on the car Bluetooth, screen, it shows all these other people's Bluetooth.
It
So
does.
once I say forget this device, then does it forget it on the car's thing as well?
You do need to go onto the car and say, forget this device because your name, and depending on how you have your name. So like for me on my phone, my name is Paige Hansen, but on my phone, I think I'm just like P, like my net number, like my letter P, versus like my name. So I'm not giving away a whole lot of information, but people that stay connected to those, there is, there's depending on how the version of the software of the car company, but you can sometimes go in and see then their contact lists. And you sometimes can't make calls, but you can see their contact list. You can pull up their text messages. All of that information could potentially be
That's
vulnerable.
true, right? Because I know when I've connected before, it'll ask, do you want to grant access to your contacts, your this? And I'm always like, no. But like you said before, how many people just automatically, they want to get that connection and they're just like, yes, yeah, because they think they have to have it. They have to say yes in order to get the connection. So yeah, that's a really good point that all of a sudden, I mean, because what if you rented a car, like say your car was in the shop, right? And you got a rental car and it's right in your neighborhood. And now all of a sudden somebody else is in that car and they drive by your house. They're all now your Bluetooth all of a sudden discoverable on that car. And they could go in and depending on how you if you said yes, sync with my contacts and text messages and all that. Yeah. And then what so that would be the same thing if you trade your car in or if you sell it, you're going to want to go in and you're going to want to say forget on the car's Bluetooth system, forget all of these devices.
Well, even if you have programmed in home or some of your favorite places, I mean, oh man, I feel like we're like an onion right now where it's just like, there's so many places where you give up, it's the convenience versus security. It's like super convenient. You have programmed home. But at the same time, you program in home and somebody gets in your car, all they have to do is push home. And also what is connected to your car? Your garage door opener. Click garage door opener. So I mean, it's almost like, and we certainly don't want this to be a fear-based message at all. What it is awareness of the things that there's a trade-off for convenience. It doesn't mean you can't be convenient, but there's a trade-off. And when you choose the trade-off and you choose to be convenient, then there has to be something over here where then you're making it the most secure way to be the convenience part.
So yeah, there are a lot of things when you get rid of your car or if you're going to let someone else drive it, that you have to think about, right? Because I know it's on my car, it says on the GPS, it's home, and then it has my address, right? Thank you so much for getting this information out. I know when I saw I think it was on Channel 3, I was reading it and I'm like, blue snarfing, blue bugging, blue what? What is going on? What are all
Yeah.
these terms?
Well,
So
and at the end of the day, all of those terms deal with your Bluetooth. And if you take the steps of, not making yourself not discoverable or turning it off when you're in public areas where you don't need it, those really are the best practices. And yes, the terms are crazy, all the blue, but at the end of the day, it's somebody trying to get into your phone via the Bluetooth.
that was a lot of information about Bluetooth and how to keep yourself safe. I'm going to try to remember all of those terms. So, blue bugging, blue snarfing, blue swatting, and I'm forgetting the fourth one. But the main thing here is to remember that if you do like to use your Bluetooth for a variety of different reasons, or even just one, like I said, I use it to play music in the car, is it's a good thing not to keep it turned on all the time. And there is a way to make your Bluetooth not discoverable. And I will get those steps on how to do that for both the Android and Apple phones, and we'll put it in the show notes for you. And then also remember if you're renting a car, and you're connecting your Bluetooth through there, don't say yes to everything they ask you. They're going to ask you about, if you want to connect your contacts and all that. Say no. You're still going to connect through Bluetooth if you want to play music or get a phone call or something, but tell it no. You do not want to let it have access to your contacts. And then when you're done with the car and you're turning it in, go on the car's Bluetooth and pull your connection up and say forget this device, so it doesn't automatically come up and people can see that you had that car. And if you've accidentally given that Bluetooth a connection, a connection to your contacts and other things on your phone, that they would be able to see that. So and then also on your phone, every now and then make a note to go in to your Bluetooth on your phone. And you can do this on your laptop, your desktop, your iPad, whatever device you have that has Bluetooth enabled. You're going to want to go in periodically and you're going to see what devices show up on there. They might not be connected, but if they're old devices or one-time devices, go in and click the I next to it and say, forget this device, and just get it off there, because you don't want to, like, if you've got it connected to someone else's car, a family member's car, And every time you buy that car, it's going to try to automatically connect, and you don't want that to happen. So say, forget this device. And so then if you do use it on that car and that wherever you're at, you would have to repair it, which takes an extra minute or two, but it's for your safety. So thank you for joining me today. And you can go to our website at roseadvocacy.org. You can find our social media links and scroll down a little ways on the homepage, and you will see how to sign up for our monthly emailed newsletter. And we also put one in the mail. There's a link there that you can sign up for that as well. And if you have anything you'd like me to discuss on a future podcast, please email info@roseadvocacy.org and let us know what you'd like to hear more about. And we'll see if we can't get that on. And don't forget, you're going to want to click subscribe so you don't miss an episode of Let's Talk About Scams. Until next time, thank you.